Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and today we're back with another best teams video for the new character in Honkai Star Rail, Anaxa. Now, in order to understand this video, and I promise by the end of this video, there will be a team for you. It's not just talking about the most expensive team. Even if you're a new player, even if you're free to play, massive whale, there will be a team in this video for you, as with all of our best teams videos on the channel that we always do for every new character that is released. Now, let's first thing talk about 4 unique things about him that pretty much define how he's going to be played in a lot of the team compositions. For any of you who have no idea what he does, these 4 things are all you need to start building team compositions. Now, number 1, he is an erudition character, win of course, and he scales with the number of erudition character in the team composition. What do I mean by scale? He wants to play in ideally with another teammate of erudition so that he can get buffs himself and buff his entire team with team-wide damage buffing. This is very, very strong because he becomes like a harmony character, although a bit restrictive because he's like Akirion, for example, where you need to play with another erudition character. In that sense, a bit restrictive, which kind of does define a lot of the team compositions that you will see later on in this video because of this unique team buff mechanic that he has that requires you to have another erudition character as well. So that conditional uniqueness aside of him, he is an insanely efficient character because he plants all weaknesses on enemy. Just think the likes of Silver Wolf, just that instead of implanting one target, you implant a lot of targets, and instead of one weakness, you plant all the other weaknesses, which is really, really very powerful for this particular character. Very strong, and you will see that being reflected in the team compositions that he fails. This is another unique point about Anaxa as well. Now, the next one is he is a sub DPS. So unlike other characters, maybe like Silver Wolf, who is maybe a bit more supportive, Anaxa is definitely a lot more damage dealing. He has a lot more damage buffing himself in his kit, deal more damage, ignore enemy defense, and whatever not. He can be a strong sub DPS, which is excellent in my opinion. Now that we have talked about the 4 big things about him that makes him special and unique, let's jump in from a top-down approach. Where will he fall in line to help you build the teams in your team composition roster, your account like things? There are, broadly speaking, 9 different kinds of teams that he plays into, or 9 different teams that are existing in Honkai Star Rail, and he plays into 3 of them. Number 1, he can be played into a hyper carry team where he buffs a hyper carry. Some people want to play him hyper carry himself. In my opinion, not as strong as the other top tier DPSs of the matter, but it's still possible too, because he does have a bit of damaging in this kit. He plays very well into break, which we'll talk about. Not many people will touch on break team compositions, but because of his weakness applying onto the enemies, makes it very easy to break enemies, means he can be played into break team competition too. And of course, he's an excellent debuffer, putting a lot of debuffs on the enemies' weaknesses on them too. Let's start things first off with the best in slot Anaxa team that everyone pretty much is going to be talking about. That is going to be a combination with Herta. Now, the reason why both of them work so well together is because Herta needs another erudition to buff the team. Anaxa also needs another erudition to buff the team, so this becomes a symbiotic relationship where they both of each other needs each other so that they can buff the entire team and they support each other to become even stronger. Both of them damage dealers, different elements, one also able to implant weaknesses to help Herta out a little bit more as well, deals damage on his own to help Herta as well. This is really fantastic and probably going to be clearly the best in slot teams. In terms of pivot slot, you can run any harmony-based characters that ideally buff multiple characters. So Robin is a great example where you buff multiple characters, you push multiple characters up, you deal damage as well on the side of things. Tribi is also great because she also does damage to help with building stacks and stuff like that. So these are some ideas, but of course you can play with any other character that buffs an AoE. So if you don't have these expensive harmony characters, maybe they are used for another team, you can consider playing Esther, you can consider playing other AoE buffers that buff multiple characters. For pretty much Esther is ideally one of them. Ronmei is also another option wherever she migrated to on this sheet. She is also another option that buffs multiple units as well. So that is some options. And right now, some of you are thinking, oh, you don't have Herta. Is there any other character that can play a good solid role? A good alternative, I would say, is probably going to be Jade. You can fit in Jade in this slot as well. Some people might play it here. Both are options available, but I think that best in slot by far is going to be Herta. So I'm going to just minimize Jade's icon a little bit here. And last but not least, of course, you can run a variety of characters in the utility sustain slot. Ho is a great example of a strong one because of the energy regeneration she provides to the entire team, but any damaging unit that hits the enemies also are pretty good to help build stacks, to also do more damage on the side of things too. So this is probably going to be the best in slot currently as of time of recording the team compositions, but there is way more team compositions. Let's talk about a generic one first, and this is what I define as a everything comp. Now this is where it gets a bit unique, because if you have no idea what to play, you don't even know what team to run in, this is a fantastic example of a team composition that you can fit pretty much anyone in this third slot over here. You have a duration extension of weakness, a general buffer for your entire team, and you have Anaxa here who implants weaknesses alone. If you have an erudition character, you can slap in an erudition character here and they will benefit even more from a character like Anaxa. Otherwise, you can slap in pretty much any character and they will benefit from this weakness breaking and enemy weakness breaking extension in this particular comp. So this is pretty much any DPS can go into here. Ideally, you want an erudition character here. So if you can slap on any erudition in this comp, they will likely find good value here. Even a free-to-play character, for example, like Servile, everyone's weakness broken, you can hit everyone too. So this is a fun comp that if you're a new player, very, very strong. But we will have more team compositions for new players in a bit. More importantly, as we mentioned in this table over here of like 9 teams, the one that I want to spend a bit more time talking about now is a unique one, and that is brick team compositions. And okay, this one in a little bit, but let's talk about brick team compositions first. If you're talking about brick team compositions, the thing about Anaxa and break is, in order for you to have super break on the enemies, you need to have a weakness broken enemy to begin with. Anaxa is great for this because he implants all of the weaknesses on the enemy, so you can double down on super break. For example, if you're a free-to-play player, you can play with Harmony MC, offering you a lot of super break regardless of what the enemy weakness is. You don't need like a specific character like Fucc. You save a lot of resources as well. Fucc, of course, has one character able to implant weaknesses to help them ignore weaknesses, but Anaxa allows your whole team to get in on the action regardless of what element the enemy is. So you can still play Fucc together with Anaxa, benefits more of the entire team. And of course, this third slot over here, any DPS can be coming in handy, but right now, probably the most ideal for a break comp with him would be the likes of a character, for example, like Rapper, who is an erudition character herself, and also is a liking to break characters. So he weakness breaks everyone so that everyone else can do a little bit more damage as well, super break damage. And your last slot can be like, for example, Fucc, you can play Ling Shao over here, you can play a damaging unit like Gallagher, who also are able to have weakness broken enemies by Anaxa, as well as the super break damage either by Harmony MC, Fucc, and this is a really excellent team composition for the break competitions. Now the next one I want to talk about, I put this closer towards the end of the video because I know a lot of people want to like this character, they really like his design. I think he's a very fantastic, efficient character as well, but I don't think he is a main DPS material. That's why I put it in 3 stars here. Is in the best teams video because every character can be played as long as we deploy them accordingly, but he will fall apart when you are comparing him to the likes of Castorice, when you're comparing him to the likes of the Herta and stuff like that. All the top tier DPSs, he might fall short, but you can still make him work. And that is running a double buffer kind of hyper carry style in the synergy as well as pivot slot. You can run a character that is same typing, for example like Bronya, who is able to use the free to play or the 4-star cone that buffs same type damage, your win over here, so that you can play it. Otherwise, you can go with a lot of other single target buffers, for example like Sparkle, like Sunday as well, focusing on increasing and maximizing the amount of damage that he does. Because he needs one more character in order to buff the entire team's damage, you can just play him with like himself, and that is good enough for him to get his own self buff. Last but not least, of course, utility slot is really anyone that you can slot in here. There is really not much preference. Ideally, you want to go with a character that buffs Anaxa in some way, for example, like Ho, but perhaps you can also go with Fucc, who buffs crit rate 2, depending on what you're looking for. But these characters help buff him up a little bit more in terms of crit, or give him more energy to funnel into this character, or some sort of attack buff. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about free to play, and this is a very special character. If you are a new player into the game or you have just returned after a long time, this, in my opinion, character is one of the most efficient characters of all because his kit is very generic. Even if you don't play him into a double erudition, that universal weakness breaking ability in him is just so efficient. It helps account building, it lowers the cost as much as you can. The only way to make him irrelevant in future is if the enemy cannot be weakness broken, but then you take the entire break out of the way too. So this is a very efficient character. That monologue aside, that overall description, he is very, very strong because you can play pretty much Harmony MC, which is a free character. Everyone has the main character, and you can slap in, you have 3 erudition free units in the game. Serval, Tiny Herta, as well as Ting Xue. So you have 3 characters to pick from in erudition category to play onto Anaxa's strengths. You can play in the super break damage from Harmony MC and Anaxa. Really, really solid as well. And in the healing slot, you can run Lynx or Natasha, who are both free, and you will cruise very easily as you're progressing the story, getting towards the end game. You might struggle a little bit with trying to full clear in the hardest difficulty of this team, but it will get you by and save you a lot of resources because he's able to help you tackle so many team compositions. You don't even care about elements. Your one character is all that you need. Very efficient. And if you found this video helpful, of course, do like, comment, and subscribe for more of such future content. And if you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up. Check out these 2 other videos right here that you might like as well. See you guys in the next video.